Hello, welcome back. I'm JIAT De Silva, an undergraduate of the JAM Institute for Advanced Technology. Welcome back with the project named eShop, and today I'm going to discuss about the program of the admin sign-in process, including the verification code. So here, if we enter the email address of the user and we click on the send verification code, here we can see a message is displaying as please take a look at the email to find the verification code, and then when we click OK, here we can see that a bootstrap model is displayed. So if I move to the Google account, I paste that here, and when I click on verify, we can see that we directed to the admin panel of the eShop. So then we're going to discuss about that program. So then let's move to Visual Studio Code, and here in the admin signin.php file, I have given an ID as E to the input field relevant to the email label, and for the send verification code button, I have called an on-click function as admin verification. And if I move to JavaScript file to discuss about this admin verification function, here's the relevant function, and before that function I have created a global variable as AV here, and then I have obtained the element with the ID E and store that in a variable called email here, and after that I have created a new form data and store that in a variable called form, and I have appended the value of the email by the name E to the form that we have created, and then I have created a new XML HTTP request and store that in a variable called request here, and after that I have called an anonymous function on each change in state of the request, and I have checked whether through an if condition whether the status is equal to C200 and the ready state is equal to 4, and if so, we have obtained the response text of the request and store that in a variable called response here, and through an if condition we have checked whether the response is equal to success. If so, we have displayed a message as please take a look at your email to find the verification code, and then we have obtained the element with the ID verification model and store that in a variable called admin verification model. If I showed you the element with the ID verification model, here is the element. It's a bootstrap model that we use for entering the verification code. Here is the relevant ID as verification model. So for the global variable that we have created by the name AV, we have assigned the new bootstrap model by the name admin verification model, and we have showed the relevant, or we have displayed the admin verification bootstrap model, and then if the response is not equal to success, we have added the response we get back from the server side. And here through the open function, I have mentioned that we are using the post method, and I'm sending information to the admin verification process.php file, and then I have used true here to mention that I'm using the Ajax method, and then I have called the send function, and also I have sent the form that we have created. So then let's move to admin verification process.php file. Here at first I have used the PHP script, and then I have included the connection.php file and also the smtp.php file, phpmailer.php file, exception.php file that we use for the email sending part, and then I have used the php mailer code here, and then after that through an if condition I have checked whether a value that comes through the post by the name E is set, and if not, we have echoed a message as email field should not be empty, and then if the value by the name E that comes through the post is set, if so, we have obtained that relevant value and store that in a variable called email here. And after that I have called a search function with the query as select all from the admin table, where email equals to the email that we have obtained. If I showed you the admin table, here we can see in the database relevant to eShop is the admin table, and we have stored the values in the admin table, as here is a one admin that relevant to the eShop. Here we have stored the verification code, email address, and also the first name and last name, and here we have obtained the number of rows of the admin result set that we use to store the results we get back from the database, and I have stored the number of rows we get back here in a variable called admin num. And after that, run if condition, I have checked whether the admin num is greater than 0. If so, I have stored a unique ID in a variable called code here, and after that I have called an IUD function with the query as update admin table and set the values we code as the code that we have created, where the email equals to the email that we have obtained. And then here's the code relevant for the email sending part. Here as the username we have to give the mail address, and also as the password here we need to provide the app password of the relevant email address, and also as the set from mail we have to give the relevant email address, the same email address, and here too the same email address. And then as the subject we have given the text as eShop admin login verification code, and then as the content, as the body content of this mail we have used the text as your verification code is, and we have included the code that's stored in this variable called code here. And then after that, through an if condition, we have checked whether the mail is not sent, and if so we have echoed a message as verification code sending failed, and if not it comes to the else, and there we echo as success. And if the admin num that we obtained and that we check here is not greater than 0, then it comes to the else of that if condition, where it displays a message as you are not a valid user. So then let's again move to admin.php file, and here in the module relevant to enter in the verification code for the input, relevant to the enter your verification code label, I have given an ID as vcode, and for the verify button I have called an on-click function as verify. So then let's move to JavaScript file to discuss about this verify function. Here's the verify function, and here I have obtained the element with the ID vcode and stored that in a variable called code here, and I have created a new form data and store that in a variable called form, and also I have appended the value of the code by the name C to the form that we have created. And after that I have created a new XML HTTP request and stored that in a variable called request here, and then I have called an anonymous function on each change in state of this request, and I have checked whether the status of the request is equal to 200 and the ready state is equal to 4, and if so we have obtained the response text of the request and storing that in a variable called response here. Through an if condition we have checked whether the response we get back from server side is equal to success. If so, we have hide the model that we have displayed earlier through the admin verification function here. After that we have given the location as admin panel.php file, or we have redirected the relevant admin to the admin panel. And then if it comes to the else of this if condition, and there we have added the response we get back from the server side. And through the open function I have mentioned that we have used the post method in sending the information to the server side, and we have sent information to the verification process.php file, and I have used through here to mention that I'm using the ajax method. And here through the send I have sent the form that we have created. So then let's move to verification process.php file. In the verification process.php file, at first I have used the PHP scripts, and then I have used a session star, and I have included the connection.php file. And after that, through an if condition I have checked whether a value by the name C that comes through the post method is set. If so, this process taking place, and if not it comes to the else of this if condition, where it displays a message as please enter the verification code. And if the value by the name C that comes to the post is set, if so we have obtained the relevant value and store that in a variable called v here. And after that I have called a search function with the query as select all from the admin table, where v code equals to the verification code that we have obtained, and I have stored the relevant results we get back from the database in the variable called admin results set, and after that I have obtained the number of rows in it and stored that in a variable called admin num here. And then through an if condition I have checked whether the admin num is equal to 1. If so, we have obtained the results that stored in the admin results set through the fetch assoc and store that in a variable called admin data. And then I have created a session by the name AU and stored the results that stored in this admin data. And then I have echoed a message as success, and if it comes to the else of this if condition where it checks whether the admin num is equal to 1, so then we have echoed a message as invalid verification code. So this is the process of the admin sign in page including the verification process. So then let's meet you the next video, and bye for now.